really adorable. But, you know, some of you will be getting this in the mail. So, one of the funny moments is I'm at the stationery store and I'm counting exact change out for the woman waiting on me, but I'm not obviously paying very close attention, and I give her a coin and she hands it back to me, and it's a kopeck, and she laughs and I laugh, and it sounds really small, but so kopecks are not, it's kind of like using Confederate money. Like, it's not a real thing. It's Soviet money, and the reason why I have it is because of the Moscow like video game museum that we went to. They all take kopecks. So whenever you buy your ticket, they give you, like a dozen of these 15 kopeck coins, and so I can only imagine working in the service industry that this would be a funny story to say. You won't believe what happened to me today. This, American came in and gave me a kopeck. It's like, if that were me waiting on that person, I would be like, are they a time traveler? What's a time traveling spy or something? This is very weird, but it was very funny, and it was very genuine too. That and genuinely funny that I paid her with a kopeck. But then the real, star of the show was, I at the end of shopping, and at the end when I started to run out of steam, there was a little grocer, and I was like, I need to get some more water and some more vodka, and I need a snack. I was really losing some steam, so I got some pretzels. It's like that thing you eat tea time, and I just needed something in my stomach. But if you know me by now, you know that I'm really hyper aware of my surroundings. So I would have normally in the U.S. walked down the street, eaten these pretzels until I was satisfied, and gone back and got ready for dinner. But I was thinking, and I've not seen people eating on the street, so I walked for a little while, and I was correct. I had not seen anyone eating on the street, which should tell you why there's all the Russian people are slim, Americans are not. But I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna eat something, I can sit down and take a little time to eat. And as I'm walking by one of the entrances to the mall, I see some benches and some people standing up getting ready to leave. So I took that opportunity to walk inside and sit down and open up these pretzels and start eating. So there's 3 benches, and the bench next to me is a half dozen men who are like the skeeviest looking dudes you could possibly imagine. It was before the end of the workday, and they're lounging about. They look like their skin. There's a certain way you look like when you're on drugs, and more than one of them had black eyes, like they'd gotten in a fight. And my alarm bells were ringing, but it's broad daylight. There's all these people around. I can eat a little bit and move on. So going back a little bit, my travel partner had said when he'd come back before that to Russia before, that he noticed whenever there was a veteran of the Great Patriotic War, this would be World War II, it's not Americans, they're treated with a profound amount of reverence. Y'all can look it up. The loss in Russia during this war was very, very great. There's not a single person in this country who was not affected by it personally. And that he noticed, when he would see someone, an older person, like the crowd would part for them, or people would shake their hand. There was a lot of reference. So, I sit down, I put down my bags, I'm getting out pretzels to eat, and as soon as I open this bag, the door opens, and there is this man, and a man walks in who is ancient. I say this with all, how much I love old people, but he was really old. But I immediately knew, I looked at him and knew what this was. And as soon as he walked in, I made eye contact with him, as I've been doing some here, and he was crouched over and sort of hobbling, and I put him beside me to welcome him to my seat, deciding not to get up and help him, but to let him know that this was welcome. And I looked at him, made this gesture, and as I'm doing this, I look over, and these roustabouts, their faces completely changed. They immediately shaking this man's hand, saying things to him in Russian I didn't understand, and greeting him, all of them. And he sits down next to me, puts down his bag, and out of his bag, out of his things, pulls a bag of cookies. And one of the young men next to me, without anything out of his pocket, pulls his knife and hands it to this older man. Not open the bag for him, but hands the knife to the older man. The man, not having a ton of mobility, it takes him a while, opens the bag, and then passes around the bag of cookies to all these people. And he's talking to me, and of course I don't understand, but God bless Google, and that translate app, because you can type a sentence in, and there's an icon you press, and you turn it to the side, and it's in big obvious text with a blue background and white text what you're trying to say. So he was talking to me, I typed this, and I'm from America, which kind of says a lot, and he got it, but it was and so I was satisfied enough to do the 2 mile or whatever walk back to my hotel and left. But it was like I said in my last video, I endeavor to have those sort of moments happen, and it only happened because I was open to having that sort of experience. If I hadn't, stopped, if I hadn't gotten hungry, if I hadn't paid attention to the fact no one's eating on the street, this never would have happened. And it was a really profound thing to witness, and another one of those things I'll never forget. So I